Hey guys, EB here, and welcome back to part 2 of my Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Hyrule and Minecraft tour. Such a long title, but such a fun project. Today we're going to be heading off to the Eastern Palace, and we'll go through that first dungeon, and then we'll head down to the southern areas of the world and look around Lake Hylia and the southern swamp, and check out those areas. Again, this video is pre-recorded, hence you're still looking at Steve. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we're starting at Link's house and heading east from there. We're gonna take a quick peek down towards the lake. We'll come back there after the dungeon. Gonna cross the bridge and got kind of the the dirt area with the dirt mounds. I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be in game, but this is how I represented them. Still having flying issues, little bit of lag. I do have OptiFine installed on here on 1.11.2, so it's definitely a lot smoother than the last video, I think. I was also able to record a few more frames per second, so making some enhancements. First little cave here is a fairy fountain. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the first video or not, but basically whenever there's a fairy fountain, it's an exact copy of that one. I literally just sort of carved the entrance, said this is where it needs to go, and then used NC Edit to copy and paste them everywhere they needed to be. Heading down, kind of taking a peek at the lake. Technically at this point in the game you can't swim, so I haven't jumped in the water yet. We'll cheat a little bit later on to get somewhere else, but for the time being at least. Okay, heading up into the area. We got the entrance here with the two arches. We'll head up and go towards the I forgot to look up and see exactly how you're supposed to pronounce his name, the wise old man. We'll just call him that, instead of trying to royally keep butchering his name. But here's his house, situated in the Eastern Palace grounds. Kind of just show off some of the area around here. I will say after I recorded this, I went through this area and I actually busted out a lot of the torches. I've been really kind of just looking at it and looking a little more in depth. Here's inside his house. And for the most part, it's kind of overkill. So I've been knocking some of them out, cutting back on some of the lighting. You know, these are dark times for Hyrule, so maybe it shouldn't be quite as bright and cheery. So, been kind of working on that. Like I say, I pruned a lot of the torches out of this area. You also notice this little green strip down here. That's not supposed to be there. Several months ago now, when I was working on this project, I lost a big chunk of the world and had to recover from a backup. And when I did that, yeah, it didn't quite come back right. I had lost, I don't know, a good chunk of work. I had done a little cave in this area. I don't remember what's actually in it in game. Is it just a fairy? I think a fountain where you can find fairies. Anyways, I lost a big chunk of the world and later found the schematic file that I had basically taken the entire light world and copied it and put it in a schematic file and then pasted that into the dark world. Well, I stumbled across that schematic file and pasted it back in here as the light world to recover it, and I kind of missed on the alignment. You'll see that when we get into the palace, I kind of need to start going through the dungeons and stuff ahead of recording instead of stumbling upon them mid-recording session. But, like I say, you'll see when we get in there. Okay, coming up to the entrance of the palace. Kind of showing the palace level grounds, I guess. You can't really tell it here at day, but the quote-unquote statues actually light up. They have glowstone underneath them. Alright, into the dungeon. They got the first entry room here with the side paths that don't lead anywhere. I kind of glance over at them. And a long fall to your death if you fall off. Sorry, I try not to cough into the mic. Alright, second room. Got the little hallway where you have to dodge the balls back and forth, back and forth. Up here to where we got our first chest. And head into the next area. That's the pathway we'll come across later. Kind of the main chamber here with the big chest where you usually get the bow in game. And here's where you really notice the paste. Took me a bit to realize what in the world is going on here. But yeah, here's the edge of the paste. I was off by 8 blocks. Well, Dawn. So, yeah, this is kind of weird to imagine, but or to kind of get it back in your head of where you're supposed to be. South side of that room, which the fence ahead and that fence right there are supposed to line up. Like I say, they, well, don't. We'll get into the other section of that room later in the dungeon. For now, we head back across to the other side, where we'd be fighting skeletons. And here's a room where you have to clear everything out so that that door ahead of us opens. I don't have doors anywhere where there's supposed to be doors. I don't know. Didn't feel like doing that. Hallway is usually blocked by rocks, so you can only get through one way. And now here we are in the main chamber. Yeah, also being on 111, auto step is on. I turned it off after recording this. Yeah, shaking my head. Okay, so usually we would head up and into that room, and it would put us in the donut-shaped room, which this is the top part of it. And we have to come in here, find the key in one of the pots, and come back to the south because we got that thing chasing us. And here's where the southern part is, so we'd come across here, unlock this door, and then walk across the opening chamber. Another room where you got to clear everything out to get the big key. I suggest you get the big key in. Now we head back down. This is where you'd usually have to push the rock out of your way. I was thinking after I recorded this, I need to go back through, and everywhere there's one of those pads where you can telepathically communicate. Put a command block there that actually gives you the message in game. I thought that'd be pretty neat. I may need to go back and do that. The room where you find just a whole bunch of blue rubies. Now we descend to the final rooms before the boss fight. Got a couple of rooms here with multiple switches and only one actually opens the door. Another room where you're dodging the balls rolling across. Hit that switch and this door would open. Final room where you got a few baddies you gotta kill to open the next door. Into the pre-boss room where you resupply. And finally, the boss fight room. Which there's no way those guys could ever jump around in this room. Okay, fast forward, and they just took us outside quicker than walking. Here's kind of an aerial overview of the whole area. You really get a much better feel of it from this height. You know, it looks a lot more like the game when you're looking at it from up above versus when you're down actually in the level. Yeah, like I said, it's really bright, and I've cut down a lot of those torches. Okay, so next we're going to head down to Lake Hylia and check out the area around that. Not a whole lot in the light world side. Now in the dark world, of course, this is dungeon 5? 6? I don't know. Here's the shopkeeper's little, well, shop. And over here we have a fortune teller's hut, which is very similar to the one we looked at last time up in Kakariko. I realized after watching my first video, I said detail too many times. So, I'm not going to try and mention the detail I tried to put in. It's kind of like a bad drinking game. You said detail, take a drink. Okay, here's where I kind of cheat. In game, you shouldn't be able to swim yet, but well, I don't know why I didn't fly, but we're swimming over to this island anyways. This is your first Great Fairy area where you can upgrade your bows and upgrade your bombs by throwing rupees in the pool. The little island. And as lots of other places, in-game magic doesn't align with 3D real world, so everything has to dive down deep underground to actually have the space it needs to get all the rooms. A side room you'd bomb into to get small fairies for your bottles. You come back out. Here I decide to fly. Swimming along the path to the homeless guy living under the bridge where you receive one of your bottles. Got his little campfire here. Right, back up to the path. Now we head over to the swamp section. and we'll take that path down to hit the caves in the area on the other side of the lake. So here we are in the southern swamp, which when you're down in it, looks weird. All these statues and everything everywhere. But I'll give you an aerial view at the end, and it makes more sense then. Another copy-paste fairy fountain. Pond over here, and the, I don't know, I guess you'd call it sewer viaduct control room. Not sure exactly what you'd call it. But yeah, there's kind of an overview, which looks a lot better. Go down in here. This dark tunnels full of water. There's the floodgate, I guess would be a better term for it. Alright. Head across the south. To this first little cave here. I believe this is one where you have to kill the bad guys to open the door to get in here. Got the 4 chests in the back. I think one of them has a bunch of rupees in it. Head across to the southern part of the lake. Yeah, the warps back and forth in world. Or in the water, I should say. Just a simple command block to zip you across the world where you need to be. This one takes us up by Lost Woods in that area. This one will take you back. I had to disable it because a squid kept spawning in this pool, and every time they would hit the switch, I'd suddenly be shot across the world. Quite annoying. But here we are back. I need to actually go fix those two because they're off by 8 blocks because of the world pasting back in. The coordinates aren't the same anymore. Head up to these caves up here. First one's one that you would, remember, you would dash into it or pick up the large stone, but have this spike floor you have to get across. Then we have the ice rod cavern, again having to dive deep down below the surface to make it all actually fit. The little small fairy room where you can get your fairies. And then you can peek in here, but you can't actually get in there. So now we have to go back out and go in the other tunnel. And now we can get in here and get our ice rod. Head back outside. Stinking Enderman. I don't know why, but there was a period in time when I left monsters on. Then I realized that Endermen were messing up my world. Alright. Big overview of the whole southern area. Yeah, the shapes that you see in the lake, in-game, that's the shallow water that you can walk through. Everywhere else it's too deep, so you have to swim. Across the swamp. Zoom down here, you got the paths to leading to the desert, where you got your sad guy and waiting for his chest to unlock. Little cave here with a whole bunch of pots in it to get some items. Yeah, I started kind of mixing in some coarse dirt to show that, hey, we're getting to a drier area. Another fairy fountain here. Trying to mix up the textures a bit too. See, everything's getting yellow, and then we start hitting sand, and now we reach the desert. Anyways, guys, we're going to end this tour off here, and we'll pick up next time and go through the desert palace behind us. I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any comments or questions or anything like that, leave it in the section below. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more. But until next time, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Bye-bye.